Okay, Councillor Lewis.
A number of questions for staff, if I may. Now, just to set this in context, correct me if I'm wrong, what we're being asked to approve today are amendments to the plan, amendments that we feel we need to do to address the concerns of the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. Is that it in a nutshell?
I think that's pretty accurate. It's Environment Canada and Fisheries.
All right, and without these amendments, we're concerned that we're not complying with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans and the Environment Department that you've referred to.
I think the desire on the part of the region is to have those agencies sign off on the plan.
Exactly. That's much better said than I would have. To get them to sign off on the plan. Here's my concern, but I'm sure that you'll be able to allay my concerns. I do have a letter here from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, dated February the 16th. It's from Mr. Cameron. I beg your pardon, it's from Mr. Guy Beaupre. Now, in that letter, I don't know if you've seen a copy of it, it's addressed to the GVRD, and he raises a number of concerns. Time is late, I won't read the entire letter out, but he does say this. It's our view that the plan currently does not address clearly the need to meet regulatory requirements in a timely fashion. I note that the plan should include a defined upgrading schedule for Iona and Lionsgate and a firm time frame whereby CSOs, combined sewer outflows, such as Clark Drive, would be eliminated. Anyways, my very lengthy question is this. Do the amendments before us today offer an answer to either of those concerns? Are we offering a defined and firm time frame?
The intent is, I guess, to address in part the issues raised by Mr. Beaupre through Environment Canada and Fisheries. What the amendments do is establish a time when it's expected that primary treatment or enhanced primary treatment will have to be upgraded because it can no longer meet the kind of demands and growth that we expect in the region. And so the amendments define a date of 2018 or 2028 as the kind of relative time frame when we'd have to move with secondary treatment at Iona. In addition, I think that there's been a lot of discussion around the need to cooperate and move forward on the CSO issue, and my understanding is that the federal officials are reasonably satisfied with that. The point has to be made, I think, that irrespective of the liquid waste management plan, the Fisheries Act is still the law of the land, and we have to meet the requirements of the Fisheries Act. And the federal officials have made that known, and I think that's clearly understood by all of the parties.
Do we have any confidence that the concerns raised in this letter will be addressed by these amendments?
I don't think that there's certainty around that. I think that these amendments have to be submitted, and
have we submitted them to them sort of in advance? This is what we're thinking of doing. Would it meet your concerns? And then they get back to us in advance?
I think that they're clearly aware of these amendments. I'm not aware personally of a response back from the federal officials.
All right, I'll be brief, but I'll be I'll try to get to the point. Here's my concern. It seems to me, from my reading of the letter, they want a much speedier resolution and a much more defined timeline. And my read of these amendments is that we're really not doing either. It's not speedy and it's not defined. Concerned that we approve this today, we end up continuing with a situation where DFO and the Environment Ministry are not happy. And then, of course, we may be looking at criminal charges being filed against the GVRD for the water pollution.
Yeah. And again, I can't say with any certainty whether these amendments will find the plan acceptable. I just don't know what the response would be. I do know that there has been significant discussion between the region, the municipalities, the province, and the federal government around the issue of water quality and treatment programs and monitoring. and, you know, day-long sessions to try and address these kinds of issues. But I don't know at this point what the federal response will be.
Okay, at the appropriate time, Your Worship, I'd like to debate the motion, but those are my only questions.
Okay, Councillor Price? Question?
Perhaps I can get you going here. I don't want to take a lot of time here, but it's a theme that's come up several times, and I think it's worth mentioning. In New York, when I went to the Congress for New Urbanism,